I represent from midnight to high noon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tim, High Noons Vinyl, your friendly neighborhood vinyl guy, back again. I have some more things to share and show. Never ends, right? You know, we live these lives of collectors and we say, man, when will enough be enough? And for some of us, it's never. God damn it. Anyway, in my last video, I had commented or shared that I did an unboxing of this, the Jimi Hendrix Valley of Jams. This was the third Man Vault Records release for the quarter. And it said Jimmy, so I had to buy it, right? I wanted to share my thoughts with this because I've had some time to digest it. When I did my unboxing, I hadn't even listened to it yet. And this is something unique and special. This is what you would expect from the title, Valley of Jams. This really is a set focused on hitting record, letting the band go, working out ideas, and just kind of seeing where they're all gonna end up. And it does take a little bit of a special kind of musician to be able to just trust yourselves and things like that. So when we compare Jimmy and those he surrounded himself with as some of the greats, it's not without, I'd say, a true purpose, because you have to be able to really know each other and feed off of each other. And you get a sense of that here. You get a sense of the fact that while they may have not had an organized plan, they may have had, okay, we're going to go with this progression. There were probably communications off the mic. But some of this is almost fleshed out, right? You could almost sit down and write lyrics to it. And it was just an interesting view at the process and how much it says for Jimmy. He loved to be in the studio and he loved to record and he loved to have those ideas kind of fleshed organically. So for a Jimmy collector, a Jimmy aficionado, I don't even know if there's a bigger word that I could use than that. Me, I'm just a damn knucklehead when it comes to Jimmy. If I see Jimmy, I'm probably going to buy it. This was a must buy and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Would be remiss if I didn't comment on what I'm listening to in the background. This is a comp that I just got in on the English beat, or for those of you living in any other part of the world, it's probably just the beat. That's fine. To me, this was just a no-brainer of a comp. They put out 3 incredible albums that has pretty much all their biggest songs, as songs as you would ever want, but having them in one comp is really nice, especially considering, and granted, it's on an album, but it has one of my favorite covers of anybody of all time. The cover of Smokey Robinson's Tears of a Clown is a top-notch favorite for me. So I got a couple stacks. I'm not doing them all. I'm trying to watch time, trying to be mindful, because I know y'all can only take so much of me. Hell, I can only take so much of me. So let's move on. I had commented to a friend of mine on Instagram, Hannah. You remember Hannah, the Omaha introvert, that she was listening to something from the Jam, and I had said, hey, I just picked up some Jam records, and I'm going to feature them in my next video. So here they are. I picked up 2 LPs recently. This is, in fact, The Modern World. It's an incredible album. This one was a U.S. original. This was a U.S. original, but this one was a reissue, which was fine. It sounded great, and that's all mod cons. And there's something special about that mod sound that just continues to excite me. I also picked up a couple of their EP singles. The Bitterest Pill I've Ever Had to Swallow, and this one I believe is a U.S. one. I think this one's US, and then this one for the Surrender is a UK. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a completist, but some of those B-sides are just so strong. It makes you want to just if you see them, you grab them. So, but they're not the only band that I will talk about that this year when it comes to the B-sides. Picked this one up out of a cheapie bin because the cover, the spine is a little worn, but I also say I can't play the covers. So I was fine to pick this one up. The vinyl was clean, and I'd argue this might be one of his funkiest albums, especially the title track. This is Robert Palmer's Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley. That song alone he has a knack for finding these covers, right? And doing them such justice. He really is another one of those, like, if you don't put it in the category of that blue-eyed soul, right? That white guy doing soul, oh so sweet. You really should, because hell, that song alone, I could argue. Picked up another Jimmy I needed. This one was restocked at the Jimmy store. This one is on the Dagger Rekkids imprint, which is bootlegs that are probably not of the highest of quality. Still one I need. This was live in Cologne, Germany, 1969 January. They had the vinyl come back in stock, and I was like, ooh, gimme, 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 gimme. And then on top of that, excuse me, since I'm talking Jimmy, I'm going to find it here. And if memory serves me correctly, I haven't shared this. But if I did, feel free to call me out on it. I might have, hold on. See, this is what happens when you don't prepare, kids. This is why you should prepare, because you might be called on the spot or have a random idea and you don't know what the hell you're doing. So this was actually a Swedish press only of a very interesting comp of Jimmy Live, stuff from Winterland and a couple other famous ones that had stuff released from. Some of these might not have been released, like different days. And then when I got it, they threw in this because it was, if you've seen these around, these are unofficial. Some of these aren't even, it's debatable whether or not, what Hendrix is playing, whether it's rhythm or whatever. But it was Hendrix at his best, Volume 2. I didn't have any of the other Hendrix at his best, and there's like 3 volumes, so now I got to get both of those. So welcome to my heck, because when it comes to things like that, I'm a damn completist. B-52s, picked this one up recently, and this was a first press. Sounded fantastic. I know that a couple of these went the route of MFSL releases, and I'm sure they sound fantastic. I don't. Had I bought one of those when they first came out, probably would have been fine. I think they were like $30. They're probably going to get reissued again because they're in their lesser tier. But I got this one for actually a little bit less than that. So I was quite happy, very clean. And what can you say? Rock Lobster. Why would you say no? Look at me. Why would you say no to Rock Lobster? There you go. One from the back of the rack. Back of the rack means this has been sitting on my spin for a while, and I've got more of those, and I am even going to show a couple in a whole new series that I'm introducing, or at least a feature, not a series. But anyway, this is Booker T and the MG's Melting Pot. I had found, God, this was so long ago, maybe around the pandemic. I found somebody online selling records, and they were from, I want to say, Virginia. And if you know me, I live in Florida. So obviously it wasn't a, hey, let me just pop over. We did some communicating via the instant messenger on Facebook, and provided a list. And when it was my turn, they were letting me go for what I wanted, all my wants, and it worked out a great deal. This was years ago, and I'm behind on everything. Hell, I'm behind on breathing. I'm not behind on eating. I do that really well, but everything else. But I pulled this one in one of my random fits of just going over to the shelf. If you see this shelf right here, it's over to my shoulder underneath the 45. A lot of that is Some of that my comps and soundtracks are spilled into, and my 12 inches are on there, and a lot of that is still yet to be spun. So I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So gave that one a spin, and a quite happy. A band I have been passively, and I say this because I don't go to their section when I'm in a record store, because I know what I'm going to see. I'm either going to see the same stuff, and it's going to be 20, 30, 40 bucks because they are a name, or I'm going to see stuff that I don't care about, because for this band, I am definitely not a completist. But sometimes things just fall in your way, and you're happy with that. And that's this band, the Rolling Stones. So pick this one up. This one, all the faces are there. So we'll take it. And happy with it. Sounds fantastic. I mean, we don't need to talk about the track. We know this one, right? We don't need to talk about the track, Beast of Burden, right? I didn't think so. But the reason why I mentioned them is that I also scored Let It Bleed. This is not the most desirable press, but it is an early press. It's got a little bit of weathering there. But it sounds great, and I don't play the cover. I've yet to figure out how to play the cover. If you know how to play the cover, if there's hidden tracks on some of these covers, please let me know. But I don't. Was happy with that one. And again, it was one of those ones you would think, I'm a record collector, I should have, right? No, I didn't. And then I picked up one other one, and this one was a unique one. This one was like a $5 find. And it's not in the best of conditions. And I'm debating on whether or not I want to go after a first or an early press, or just get a repress. But this one actually played okay. Like, it didn't, there was a couple moments where it was a little crackly here or there. But it's a first press, and it's a German first press of Exile on Main Street. And of course this is a classic, and it's a reason that's a classic. It's a fucking great album. So I do feel like I want a clean one, and this would be one of probably the only ones I would hold on to. Like, I wouldn't feel like I need to have multiple presses of the Stones. I just don't, they're not that kind of band for me. But actually, what's funny is that I got it on a 2 for $5. So this was out of $5, but I got it for $2.50. You would not turn down Exile on Main Street, first UK or first German press, for $2.50 unless it was really jacked. And it looked, I won't say questionable, but it looked borderline for what I would spend. But then I paired it off with, well, it's only $2.50. If it doesn't work, it's take a punt. And it actually sounded okay. Is it mint? No. Is it serviceable? Sure is. I had ordered something off Discogs, and I don't remember what it was, and I'm sure I could go look it up, but I needed something. Hell, I could have been ordering this. I don't remember. My brain is the equivalency of pudding after it's been sitting in the refrigerator for too long, and it gets that film, and it's getting crusty, and you get that faulty crack in the middle. That's what my brain is like right now. That gives you any type of feeling of what's going on in my head. And Bill, the Vinyl Verse, brother from another, my twinsies, had mentioned this album. Maybe I went down the rabbit hole of getting it and scored it off of Discogs for what felt like cheaper than it should have been. But it was clean. It played well. I don't have a lot on the ECM label. I wouldn't say I'm a completist of the ECM label. But everything I find from the ECM label that I play, I'm starting to become a fan. So, yay, more me spending money. In another episode, not too long ago, I had shown a record. As I'm looking around here to see what I got, I'll do a couple more, and then we'll call it a show. I had shared 2 records I had picked up on my family trip to Georgia, and found this place in the mountains. You can go look at that up. And I found 2 Houdinis, and I needed The one in the middle is the bookend of those three. And I'm flipping through that area, and I just randomly pulled something, and I was like, no shit. Which in this case, we'll say no shit stands for new or surprisingly or surprising heat I took in at some point. No shit. The one in the middle. This is Escape from Houdini. This was probably their biggest breakthrough, because it had 5 Minutes of Funk. It had Freaks Come Out at Night. It had Big Mouth. Those Friends. This album. This album was truly. I had it on cassette, and this was truly a Biggie Smalls moment for me. I let the tape rock till the tape popped. I played the hell out of this. I knew this forwards and backwards. I couldn't tell you how long it had been since I had heard Big Mouth. You're a big mouth, and I'm rapping along with it like I was no tomorrow. So I was glad I pulled that. And then speaking of no shit, I didn't know, I knew I had this somewhere, and I hadn't seen it in a while. Found it in a stack that I'm still, again, I need help. Salt with the Deadly Pepper. This is their second album. So, say something possibly a little controversial. I didn't connect with Salt and Pepper initially. Push It was a great song for the radio, but for me, who was a little bit more of the street hip hop sound, I didn't connect with it as much. I got it, I understood, but it felt like it missed for me. Over the years, that's not the case, and I love it, and I love that first album, Hot, Cool, Vicious. I like looking for a first press or an early press. The singles off of that, Tramp, love them all, right? Just fantastic. But initially, I didn't connect with it. It wasn't until this album that I connected. And this had Everybody Get Up. It had Shake Your Thing, which was featuring EU, who I've talked about before, very influential go-go band from DC. This is where I connected. It still had some tracks that I was like, I don't know. And it wasn't until Black's Magic that I think I had a full project where I was like, that's what I want. But I still love this early Salt and Pepper, so had to pick that up. Early influential album, Saturday Night, Schoolie D. Schoolie D's first EP was probably the first we ever heard of that, what we would now known as gangsta rap. Very in your face, very aggressive, very street oriented. Schoolie D had a very unique sound from Philadelphia. At one point, Schoolie D was even like looping the stuff and rapping at the same time. It's crazy. Mega talented. First one, I want to say it was an independent release, and then he got signed to Jive. This is when Jive RCA was really starting to was this RCA? Yeah, this was RCA. Because at one point, because the other one, the Houdini, still Jive, but it was distributed by Arista, how you want to say it. But this is Jive RCA. So now Jive's moved the RCA, and they're really getting aggressive with signing the hip hop. I mean, they had Boogie Down Productions, and they signed later on Tribe Called Quest. So they had a stable, right? They had an ear. And this one, the debut album, which I believe this one is a promo, if I remember correctly. I think it's a gold stamp promo, or it says promo. I don't remember. Maybe it's not. Maybe I made that all up in my head because I'm an idiot, which is possible. But Schoolie D, Saturday Night, essential early hip hop for me. Speaking of promos, this will be the last one I share. There's a shop here in Orlando. It's called Binks. Binks has a big bin of 45s, And every once in a while, I'll go down there and I'll buy way too many 45s. And I can look through about an hour or so. You know, they're all loose. They're like 4 for $10. I don't know what the hell they are. And I've found a lot of different random stuff there. And what's nice is that they're in a coffee shop. So you go to the coffee shop, you walk in, and then to the side is the record store. And so I'd flipped through the 45s, and I had a decent stack. And I was like, okay, that was cool. But I kind of felt like, you know how when you're digging and you're flipping through stuff, or you're shopping for whatever it is that you're passionate about, whether it's records or comics or shoes or video games, you feel like, okay, I got my stuff, but like you felt like maybe you hadn't quite spent what you thought you were going to be. You don't feel quite fulfilled. So I kept looking. And they had some stuff, but then I realized they had drawers you could pull out and they were flipped. So I was like, all right, well, let's just see what they got. A little disorganized. We're not going to get into that. I'm not here to berate how they're doing it. I'm flipping through and I see a couple things, maybe a little price, yada, yada, yada. Then I saw this, and I'd never seen it before, and I had to stop and actually look it up to figure out what in the hell it was. That's Billy Joel now playing. So this is a demonstration promo-only record. See, white label. This is not for sale. Well, it is now because I bought it, but it wasn't for sale. It wasn't a commercial release, but it was designed possibly for radio stations, record stores to feature some Billy Joel tracks. And what's great is that you got big songs on here, but you got some of the deeper cuts. So you got like Ballad of Billy the Kids, Stop in Nevada from Piano Man, Only Good Die Young, but then you got James from Turnstiles. That really wasn't a radio hit. Say Goodbye to Hollywood. Well, that one got some play. Miami 2017, Los Angelinos, Roberta, and then The Stranger. So there's your track list. And what's even crazier is that I look it up is that there's a UK version that is completely different tracks. So now I need that too. Collecting. I don't recommend it, kids, because the shit's addicting and it needs to stop. But it won't, because I'm obsessed. Anyway, I think that's a good video. I think we're good. A little over 20 minutes. I wanted to keep it under 20, but you know, I don't know when to shut up. So more coming. We've got another, we will promise we'll advertise it better. We're going to do another live stream, I think, with the Vinyl Bunch. We are looking at Sundays. We're looking at noon Eastern. Seems to be the sweet spot for all of us who are spread out throughout the globe. We're looking at possibly comps. So that should be fun, but we'll definitely get word out on that one soon, as far as, you know, when, the whole nine. So bear with us on that. We're still working it out because we had a live stream this past time and it was actually a lot of fun and we enjoyed it. So we may go back to that format. So that said, hopefully everybody has a great week. It's getting close to the end of May. So that means school's out. Holy crap, where did this year go? Don't answer that because some of it hasn't all been good, but hopefully we are moving forward. So with that said, I love you all. I wish you all nothing but the happiness and successes and good tidings and all that fun stuff when you don't know how to end a video. So you're just going to end it now. Love you. Peace.